Mr. Chairman and members of the subcommittee, thank you for your invitation to present testimony before the Subcommittee on Energy and Power. My name is Ken Ditzel. I'm a principal at Charles River Associates, where I have authored 3 reports on LNG exports since February 2013. The client for these reports has been Dow Chemical. The views I express today, though, are mine and do not necessarily reflect the views of CRA or others. Now, Dr. Montgomery and I have conflicting views on the value of LNG exports. I first want to state that Dr. Montgomery and I have known each other for almost 10 years, and we've worked together for almost 7. He's a great person, and I agree with David on many other subjects where he's given congressional testimony. But this time is different. The reason is that LNG exports could present serious opportunity costs. Why? It's because gas-intensive manufacturing creates twice as much GDP, almost 5 times the permanent jobs, and 8 times the construction jobs as LNG exports on an equivalent consumption basis. Also, manufacturing distributes these benefits across more states, which means more people win in more states. Finally, manufacturing has a larger trade balance impact than LNG exports. Assuming equivalent consumption, manufacturing would create a $34 billion trade benefit differential. Given these higher benefits, we need to ask ourselves 2 key questions. 1, is there a price point where the manufacturing renaissance will be at risk? 2, could U.S. LNG exports raise prices to this level? To answer the first question, price levels approaching almost $8 per million BTU would end the manufacturing renaissance. We saw these price levels in the mid-2000s and the job destruction that ensued. The answer to the second question is yes. LNG exports, if left unconstrained, could raise domestic gas prices above $8 per million BTU. Why? It has to do with netback pricing. Today, the U.S. netback price would be $10 per million BTU if there were exports. Turning to the 2 NERA reports, I have a number of criticisms about their assumptions, process, and results. Given DOE's reliance on the first NERA report, it is surprising that the DOE never had the report peer-reviewed, as it would have uncovered a number of concerns, such as 1, the NERA report forecasted no exports in its reference cases, even though 30 BCF per day of applications were submitted at the time. 2nd, a lack of transparencies in results. Full output data by scenario were missing on supply and demand by region and international LNG import prices. 3rd, resource owners win while the rest of the economy loses. 4th, assumptions that the LNG market is competitive. We know it's not because OPEC influences the oil prices by which LNG is indexed. And reviewing the second NERA report, I found more concerns. 1 is, NERA is now forecasting 5 BCF per day in the long term in its reference scenario, even though actual LNG export margins have slightly decreased between the timing of the 2 reports. The second is, NERA's results are inconsistent. NERA forecasts wellhead prices to be $3.44 in 2018 in its reference scenario. Backing into this price using NERA's output tables gives lower prices, which means LNG exports would be uneconomic and would not occur in their model. 3, LNG exports, NERA forecasts almost 1 BCF per day of exports by 2018, which is only 45% of the Sabine Pass capacity, yet Sabine has a take-or-pay contract that would put the facility near 100%. Also, at 45%, one has to wonder if Sabine is a losing proposition, which NERA shareholders wouldn't want to hear. 4th, NERA forecasts international gas prices to drop from $16 today to $11 by 2018. That's because NERA models the LNG market as competitive when we know it's not. The BG Group, however, forecasts LNG import prices to remain close to today's levels for the next few years. In summary, I believe the value of LNG exports is still very much in question. The process employed thus far has been opaque, and I encourage the DOE to open up the process and reconsider that the reports it relies upon for determining what is in the public interest.